Hello, this is Eric Miscoll with Charlie Barnhart and Associates here at Apex 2012. Have some colleagues joining me here. We're going to have a discussion about the challenge of EMS differentiation. And just I'll set a little context for this discussion and then we'll pull the gentleman into the conversation here. So differentiation, as I see it, is just one possible kind of competitive strategy that a company is going to choose to engage in order to achieve its business objectives. And it's a particularly pertinent issue for the EMS industry because there's so many EMS companies, right? And I think we can agree that, I've heard it sized anywhere from 3,000, nowadays I've heard it upwards of 10,000 different players in the EMS industry. Where the number is, I don't know, I don't think anybody does, but that's really, the point I think we can all agree to is there's a lot of competition in this industry. Probably as a result of low barriers to entry, and I know that especially here in the North American market, a lot of the EMSs are facing a lot of competition from low-cost regions. With that dynamic as kind of in place, what we end up with is a lot of OEMs who look at the industry and see a lot of the same stuff, right? They see a lot of EMSs as just doing the same things, providing essentially a commoditized service, which is essentially PCBA. So what we've done here today is we think that there's actually some interesting stories in the industry, that there are, and those are truly happening more at the smaller, small end of the industry, not necessarily in the tier ones. And so what we've done is we've invited you three gentlemen, each from a North American EMS company, who we think are doing something unique in the industry. And we'd like to just kind of get your sense, hear the stories about what it is that you're doing. And not what your marketing spiel is, but what is it that, the words really don't differentiate. It's your actions that differentiate. So really kind of what it is that you're doing and what it is that you're doing in the industry that's truly different. So by way of introduction, we have Blake Kirby with Inovar up in Utah. We have Dick Otte with Promex in the Santa Clara Valley. And Mo Ohady, who's also with Digicom, which is in the Silicon Valley as well. So again, three lower tier EMS from North America. So since you're right here on my left, Blake, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell us what is it that you're doing that's truly different in this industry?
At a base level, it's the engineering team and the level of talent that we put together to support the products that our customers have us manufacture. So specifically, we have a team of design engineers to provide full design services, hardware and firmware, test engineers to provide the test development on the back end, and then a process engineering team to really support the product throughout the entire productization process.
And you've actually realized the benefits of that. So that, it's, at one level it sounds like, what many EMSs might say that they do, right?
Yeah, there's no question that beyond just, a marketing tactic, it's real value for the customer if we're involved right from the very beginning with the design of their product. And we've been able to provide them an affordable domestic design resource. Given that Utah, we really have a great workforce and a lot of trained and experienced engineers in our region at a good cost level.
Okay. Let me bring our other colleagues into play here. Dick, yours is kind of in some ways very unique in that it's in some ways something that's used to be around a lot more but is less present in the industry nowadays.
Well, there used to be a lot of our kind of thing in Silicon Valley. In recent years, the trends have been for a lot of the chip packaging kind of work that we do to go offshore. And that's still true. The really high volume, the multi-million piece jobs go offshore, and they always will. On the other hand, what we do today is a combination of technologies. We have surface mount capabilities that are optimized for complex, high-density, small products. We have a big clean room with all of the usual back-end processes, die attach, wire bonding, overmolding, variety of package sealing methods. And many of the projects that we do and where we have a unique capability is to mix all of these technologies together, to utilize surface mount with direct chip attach, do overmolding of it all. These kinds of products are highly materials and process intensive, and many of them are highly unique. No two of them are alike. So we find ourselves dealing with products that have to be sealed against fluid flow. Of course, there's the RF devices where geometry control is so important. Then we build optical devices where particle control to minimize dirt and light scattering is a big deal. So we combine all of those technologies in various amongst the different products that we fabricate and build for our customers. Much of what we do is moderate volume, although we frequently build 100,000 pieces for people. As increasingly, a lot of these complex products stay on shore for a long time, particularly some of the medical devices and the military devices.
Okay, very good. Yeah, that is, and it used to be more of that, like you were saying, you know, here, but as a lot of that is migrated offshore.
Right.
You know, it's nice to see that still remains, that capability is still remaining.
Right. There are not a lot of chip packaging capacity left in the valley, but there is a pretty broad capability in a few companies like ourselves.
That's good to hear. And Mo, please tell us, what is it that you're doing now?
Where we found growth and opportunities is the way we've handled, just an example, one of the projects that we have handled is to collaborate with a group of scientists who are from different campuses across US and overseas. And we collaborated with them to help develop this set of hardware. They developed the software. We married the two together and developed a system we could configure especially for their needs. It's a very high-speed data acquisition and analysis system, high-end, high-value, low volume. And the degree to which we have collaborated has yielded so that the results are they have selected us as a sole provider of these systems. People describe their needs, we configure the system, and we ship. And as a result, we have a very enviable roster of some of the finest campuses in US, outside of US, throughout Europe, and in Asia. And we have, for a small company, we have become an international player in a very, very specialized field. The result of the scientific work that these scientists are able to do gets published in high-end journals, and it's specifically for space science research. And that's not the only area where we collaborate and work very closely with our customers. Our medical device certificate allows us to build box build for medical devices, complete service, and that's another sweet story that we found, collaborating with customers, providing their needs and meeting their needs.
And you raise an interesting issue because not all of the sectors are the same, right? So it's really how do you manage the market or manage to the market, right? Each sector, every OEM in different sectors are more demanding or less demanding.
Right.
For example, Blake, you're doing a lot in the military, right? So I mean, how do you do that effectively?
Yeah, what we find, our experience with the military prime and subprime contractors, many of them, in fact most of them, have the capability of building the product in-house, or they will also outsource. And they will begin building the product in the early stages oftentimes. As that ramps up, they want to transition that to Inovar. So what we have the capability of doing is our engineers working side by side with them, our procurement folks working side by side with them to take the project over so it's completely seamless. So there are no hiccups, especially when it comes to the unique testing requirements. So literally we will mirror the supply chain, mirror the test designs, and oftentimes mirror the assembly process so that nothing gets dropped in the transition.
Okay. Now the sectors are a little different possibly for you, Dick, because it's not necessarily industry, it's more process specific. Is that accurate?
Very much so. We do work for virtually every industry around. We do a lot of support of engineering and even startups in Silicon Valley. One of the things that we offer is a lot of quick turn capabilities. For a typical chip startup company, they'll spend $10 million a year designing a new chip. And they're a fabless operation and they get the first run out of a foundry. What do they do with it? They send it to us. We can take it in our clean room. In 24 hours, we will take their wafer, saw it, put it into whatever kind of a package they want, and have it back in their hands. And in that case, and that's a specific kind of a situation for us, what we're really selling is time to market, which is so crucial in the semiconductor industry. Anything that we do of that sort, they can get done cheaper in Asia, but they can have it back in their test socket before the plane lands, going the other way.
The other way, exactly. And Mo, I mean, yours, the example that you were sharing, that's a very kind of a unique market that, you know, from the scientific, at the university, scientific.
Very unique, and there's that medical device effort that we make, and we're the certification effort we put into it. For a small company of our size, it takes a lot of effort, and we're committed to that process, and that's paid back also. It's been fruitful in that medical device OEMs can rely on us to build their box, their device, fully certified, fully compliant, and it's, as I say, it's been fruitful at both ends, and that's another aspect of our success.
Very good. Let me just ask, kind of in closing, because I know we need to wrap up here. You know, going back to where I started about too many players in the industry, kind of, you know, take a look in your crystal balls. You know, where do you see, you know, 3 to 5 years? You know, this overabundance of EMS players that kind of plagues the industry right now. How do you see that shaping up? Do you see it as staying the same? Do you think it's going to grow? You think there are going to be fewer? What does your crystal ball say?
I continue to see more consolidation. I think there's unique niches in different places, which, you know, the three of us are carving out. Having said that, we have one site, and we have 450 employees. And, you know, there are limitations, obviously, when you only have one facility. So the more companies that are in the industry, the more consolidation. I mean, every market experiences that. We've experienced it. I see more consolidation. But I also see in North America more opportunity. We're seeing a cycle, and we've talked about it for a long time, but where legitimately companies see the advantage, even of a little higher volume production being done here.
Dick, how do you see it?
One of the phoenix rising from the ashes is a lot of startups in the Valley, especially, that are doing very new things. They're not doing what other people are doing, but they're doing something new and unique. Some of them are highly successful, grow out to be big deals, others are not. And I'm not talking just product companies, but service providers that are, in fact, construction, building, fabricators of one thing or another. So there's a lot of new things coming along that are being consolidated.
And I think the Valley's a unique place to see that kind of activity.
That may well be true. I'm a little myopic in that sense.
And Mo, how do you see it? What's your crystal ball?
Well, there may well be consolidation in the future, but the ones who are going to see growth opportunities are the ones who represent unique opportunities and support to their customers or potential customers. You have to be unique, you have to try, you have to do better every day and improve solid control on process, management of your facility, and striving to build better and better quality products. That's the formula for success, no matter what happens in future.
It's a good perspective, and I think we'll end on that one. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming out and kind of sharing this with us. And for those of you watching, I hope this kind of shows you there are some unique things happening in North America and in the EMS industry. It's not all just basic PCBA anymore. So thank you all very much. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.